So Alex, tell us a little bit about your experience, please, with same-sex couples.
No problem. So over the years, we've been part of many same-sex couples' commitment ceremonies, whether it be pre-wedding shoots, whatever their needs are. We are all inclusive. We treat everyone with respect, consider their needs, whatever customs or traditions they have on the day. So it's a real customisable service, really, but there's no preconceptions and no bias towards anyone.
Most couples are pretty interested in getting the best value for their, the best bang for their buck.
Mm-hmm.
What are some tips you've got around how to maximise the value you can get from your wedding venue?
I think firstly, it comes down to the kind of wedding that you want. Go back to your vision for your wedding day. If you are looking for something that's within budget, try and find a venue that offers you a lot of inclusions. That's a really good way of getting value for your money at that venue. You're not having to add so much in terms of decorations or theming. However, if you're the kind of couple that really wants amazing floral chandeliers and floral centerpieces, then go for it and find a venue that's more of a blank canvas that you can really add some of your own character to. I'd also look at considering your menu options and your menu choices. Some venues will offer you the same price no matter what you choose. So why not go for the more expensive items on their menu to get a bit more value or bang for your buck there. I'd also look at the time of year you're considering for your wedding, Bronte. So if you're looking at peak season, a Saturday night, for example, it's going to cost you a lot of money to secure that date. If you're flexible and you're happy to look at, say, an off-peak, potentially winter, potentially Sunday, or even midweek, you could save a lot of money there for exactly the same package you'd be getting in a peak season.
Have you got some tips for couples around trying to work out how many people to invite to their wedding?
The easiest way, elope, run away, go to Bali, disappear, enjoy, tell them you got married while you're away. Other than that, escape to a country town. Daylesford's fabulous. But we find that, not being flippant really about it, people coming away from Melbourne and having a weekend celebration for their wedding is a really good way of limiting numbers, because not everybody can commit to a whole weekend just to celebrate your day. So that naturally gets rid of some people. The other thing is, don't let family and friends pull you all over the place saying you need to invite so-and-so, they were special. Make sure that they're people that are not only witnessing your day and your special event, but they're people that are going to be part of your life together. That's the best way to cull numbers.
These days, I expect that quite a lot of people would visit your store, have a look at the gowns, have a look at the suits, and possibly take photographs, head straight out the door and purchase online.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So are there pitfalls associated with that?
Definitely. So apart from taking photos are taken on themselves as well. So they come in thinking, sure, I'll try on these styles. This looks fantastic. Take a photo. They're not necessarily going to get that same shape on something they see online. They think they are getting that same shape, but curves are different, lines are different. You've also got that service that we provide. The online purchase is not going to provide that service. So we do alterations. We customise certain parts of a dress for you or a suit. You're not going to get that online. So it is a very different service that the customer does not seem to get. They think, sure, I'll just come in and try on different styles, know what suits me, get an expert opinion, and off I go. I've done my homework, I can buy online, but that just doesn't work. We get a lot of customers coming in then wanting alterations to their online purchase. Very distressing and very don't need all that added pressure.
So Beck, one of the things that's really difficult in any relationship is that relationship coming to an end, and that happening in a respectful way and a way that, works for both people involved. What advice have you got to LGBTI couples around how to manage that process?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the real, I guess, interesting aspects about our law is despite the fact that at the moment anyway, law's not the same about marriage equality. When it comes to the end of a relationship, everyone's subject to the same law, whether you're de facto married, LGBTI, heterosexual, whatever it might be. At the end of a relationship, the law treats everyone the same, which is always an interesting phenomenon for me. But look, it can be a really challenging time for people. It can be a challenging time if they have to separate their property. It can be a challenging time if they have to make arrangements for their children. But look, I think the thing is that a lot of people have a fear that as soon as they go to a lawyer, that means they're going to be in court for 3 years or 5 years and spend millions of dollars. So I guess what I always encourage people to do is go and see a lawyer really early. It doesn't mean you're being litigious. It doesn't mean anything has to go wrong, but I think knowledge is power, and it's really smart for both people to know where they stand. And then we always encourage people to go to mediation. The Family Law Act actually requires people to go to mediation if they have children before they go to court. But even if they don't, there's really, as you said, Bronte, respectful ways that people can manage that separation. And look, sometimes people do have to go to court. That's a reality of it. If they're in a position where they need something urgently or they just can't agree, then there is judges there to make those decisions for them. But as much as possible, we try to help that resolve before they get there.
Terry, we're standing in front of this incredibly exquisite piece of silverware. Can you talk to us about the place, I guess, of silverware at Ascot House and the history behind it?
Absolutely. So the house was built in 1860 by John Thomas Smith. He was one of the first Lord Mayors of the City of Melbourne. Really colourful character. He owned pubs, he opened the first theatre, allegedly owned some not so kosher places as well, and particularly had this amazing collection of silverware that he built up from 1860s, 1870s onwards. So a lot of the pieces were actually used at a dinner in Government House in Canberra in the 40s for the then Governor General. Most interestingly, I suppose, when John Thomas Smith's family sold the house, this amazing collection of silverware was boarded up, basically in a cellar underneath. And in the 40s, when they were excavating after the Depression, they found this treasure trove of silverware. At the time, it was valued to be worth more than the entire property. So we've got this amazing collection that, what I really like about it is we can still use it in weddings today. So when couples are maybe looking for something that's a bit more historic or, period style, we've got a lot of genuine pieces that really show off maybe a time gone by.
So Alex, what are some of the things that can go wrong on a couple's special day, and how do you go about fixing that?
So it is definitely something to consider. Like with everything mechanical, whether it be old cars, new cars, even aircraft, things do go wrong. The main thing is getting the couple to where they need to go. So there's always backup cars here on busy wedding day, and there's always someone here. So worst case, if something does go wrong, communication between all parties involved and a replacement vehicle will be supplied as soon as possible to get there.
Tell us about historic Holyrood House's niche in Daylesford. What do you offer that sets you apart from other wedding venues and wedding accommodation venues?
I think the thing that we've really worked hard to do is to provide a really personal environment. So all the professionalism of the big business venues, but really it's about styling your day the way you want it to be. So it's about your original vision, and we're a small enough property that actually is really actively interested in making that day your day. Not about us, it's about you. We just provide a beautiful venue for you to celebrate in. Easy.
As a gay celebrant based in Melbourne, I'm interested in the fact that Ascot House has a history of catering to LGBTI clients. Can you talk to me about the approach that you take with same-sex couples, please?
I think it's important to actually evaluate your specific clients and really offer them a personalised service. It's about making them feel really included. It's using the right language and inclusive language rather than exclusive language, and really looking to their specific needs and how we can cater to them. Ideally, I'd love to have an individual catered wedding for every single client that I have. A lot of the time, just because of maybe choices. It's people tend to choose maybe quite similar things here, but in an ideal world, you'd be sitting down with each client and evaluating what it is that they want and the best way possible to please them. And it's no different for the LGBTIQ community.